yeah, this looks suitably witchy. Like, this looks like a chick who would.
Yeah, it's like Snapchat.
Well, I think there was a video of her at the top in the house with a machete, but I couldn't tell. It sent me to too many other things.
Anywho, hey everybody, welcome
Yeah.
to Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclasts. I'm your host, Mike Luck, and as always, I am joined by my co-hosts.
Great day in the morning at Spencer Lowry.
And I'm Christopher Wells.
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Christopher Wells.
Got
of
that,
the North Garland.
of the Newports,
Yeah,
Christopher
the
Wells.
Newport
Ziz,
Wells
ziz,
is-
ziz.
is-
Yeah.
is-
Yeah, I know last time we said we were going to cover some murders, but we pushed that back because it's a little more labor intensive, and we wanted to fall on Halloween, and we're all still recovering from Christopher's wedding.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
anyone who was there, it was pretty badass, right?
Yeah, and thank you to all the people that came and helped.
Yeah.
Thanks, you guys. I would thank my pod brothers here because they definitely fucking helped a whole shit ton.
My eyes got wet when I saw Luna. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Like I like after you started talking and you started breaking up during the ceremony during your vows.
Yeah.
That's right, world.
Then I looked
Chris
down.
Wells cried.
I looked down at beautiful little Luna, and her eyes started getting glassy.
Yeah.
You know, I could see the reflection of the candles.
Yeah, I
on
almost
her eyes.
started as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyway,
it was really beautiful.
It was
man.
a fun
fucking
party.
Beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was a good party, and yeah, I'm still like coming down off the whole anxiety high and preparation high. And,
Yeah, for those there who caught COVID, whoopsie.
Oh, and there's that
poopsie.
too. Sorry.
Hey, we might.
Super spreader revenge.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still waiting to. I don't know. I mostly feel fine.
I
Eat a
feel
lot
fine.
of fucking vitamin C.
I'm a little. I did have a lot of vitamin C, and I've cut down on the drinking for a couple days,
That'll do it for
and
you.
I've smoked a
I
lot
was
of.
just chain
I'm-
smoking
yeah.
like a motherfucker.
I'm
and-
riding on high from the joy of the last couple
Yeah.
of weeks. You know,
Yeah.
all this
And
preparation.
anyone out there who may be listening to this who was at the event, if I said something drunkenly stupid to you,
No,
wasn't it hilarious?
No.
Who was
ain't
that
so.
handsome master of ceremonies? Anyways.
He was handsome.
Yeah, especially with the
Mm.
mask on. So yeah, today we are sort of kicking out an easy jam. As like I said, we've got a bit more labor intensive going into the next one with the murders and whatnot for our Halloween special.
Yep.
But today we are covering, I think, from what I've looked at, possibly one of the most prime examples of a spook, bullshitter, rabble-rouser, agent provocateur. He's been referred to as the Forrest Gump of conspiracy theories.
In multiple sources
Yes,
actually
yes.
said that.
I thought I came up with that shit.
Yeah.
As
Well, we
well
said that
as-
about another guy before too. I can't remember which one.
Well, we were gonna do this guy before, and then
Was it?
There
Is
was
that
like a rescheduling or something? I don't
okay?
remember. But he's
Okay.
also been referred to as the real life cigarette smoking man from X-Files,
Right.
which
Deep
I-
throat.
yeah, pretty close. So we're talking about a guy named Fred Crisman.
Spender.
Yes.
CSM Spender.
Yes. And much like Spender, Agent Spender of the CIA, this guy also is a bit of a fiction writer. Intentionally and perhaps unintentionally. Actually, I don't think this guy
I
does
think a lot
anything.
unintentionally.
Yeah.
I
They-
think it's.
They did do an
You can't
episode
help
where
it.
Spender was writing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I remember
There's
that.
another guy named E. Howard Hunt who is also much like Mr. Fred Crisman, who we're talking about today.
Mike C.
uh,
Hunt's brother.
Mike Hunt, yeah. Yeah, they were fiction writers, and they wrote, like, horror stories and sci-fi stories,
Oh.
and worked for these intelligence communities and shit. So
Right.
there's a lot of weird overlap of the old-timey pulp magazines with the awesome covers of, like, chicks with fucking mad scientists jamming needles in their eyes, or, like, monkey monsters trying to, like, abduct women. They were very saucy. But
Right.
they're also really cool artwork. But it's where you see a lot of early, like, Lovecraft and all those fucking guys got their start. And we're going to get into that later as well. Because this guy, once again, a bit of a, I would say master bullshitter, really, to a degree.
Yeah, he's definitely. I didn't get deep in the research on this one. I've skimmed over enough of it though. Trust me, I know what I'm doing.
seems-
And
But yeah.
he definitely seems like a huckster. And it's again, is it one of those situations where does the guy actually believe all the bullshit he's spinning? Is he a little crazy? Is he a little kooky? Or is he just an asshole?
I think he's just fucking kicking
all of the
hornets'
above?
nests.
I think he's all the above.
You know, my opinion on this fella is I think, you know, from what I've heard, he's a victim of battle fatigue,
Yeah,
which is
PTSD.
what they called PTSD
Yeah.
in the 40s. And, you know, my whole thing is that, you know, he might be having all these half-cocked conspiracy theories and getting his hands in all these, getting his fingers in all these pies.
Insinuating himself into shit. Yeah.
I think it's more of like a sociopathic, narcissistic kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
But I give him a little bit of credit because of the physical injuries he sustained in the war and the mental injuries
From the underground monsters.
Yeah, and that that's debatable and all.
Yeah, we'll get into
But
it.
anyways, you know, it all leads to like almost a sympathetic character for me. Where like you can understand how this could happen to someone who's been through what he's been through.
Yeah, I can see that side of it.
I don't condone him.
Yeah, I ain't for it. I'm against it.
Yeah.
But I can
I'm against it.
definitely see this guy kind of conforms to a lot of what intelligence agents for certain agencies, the central one specifically, this is what they do. They like muddy the waters. They create a lot of bullshit, like conflicting information around themselves.
So you don't believe anything.
Yeah, it's like a weird form of like real life gonzo journalism where you just spread bullshit and kick
I
up
would have
dust
loved to
storms.
have been a CIA agent, but I'm not that creative.
Oh,
How
man.
about being a CIA agent in the, like the late 60s or the early 70s?
Yeah, that's the time.
You know, during the LSD era, like that
Oh,
would have been
fuck.
a fucking crazy time in the
Yeah.
CIA.
Definitely
man.
not 99 forward.
No.
Yeah, nowhere in the maybe the 60s, but the 70s forward, and things got
I mean,
really
could you
dark.
imagine?
Well, yeah, but you're
buying,
in like,
buying a hit of LSD from fucking the guitar player from Grateful Dead, you know,
Yeah.
and Jerry Garcia for $1.
well, it's also like a lot of them. The CIA was mostly operating in like jungles and shit, or like jungle countries, not
Oh, and
desert
that
countries.
had resources.
Yeah, like good stuff. You know,
Oil.
South America,
Minerals.
You know, Africa.
Laos,
Probably,
or
yeah.
Laos,
yeah.
and
Southeast Asia.
Cambodia,
Places with interesting things to do, not the desert.
Operation Condor, Operation Ajax. Oh, they were in the desert, my friend.
They were there, of course, but not
because of the oil,
not yet. Well,
the
Well,
black
another-
blood of the earth.
oh, and then there was that whole Iran revolution thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Ollie North and the rest of his buddies. Yeah.
Crack, AIDS.
Yeah. Here's crack.
I've heard it a million times.
Here you go, America. Here's crack.
Any hoozle, but yeah,
Anywho.
we're gonna get all into that. But
Crack
first,
in
as
Crack
always,
in eights. Crack in eights. Crack in eights.
to take you back to your youth.
Yeah.
Before that, we're gonna do a
Everyone has
little.
AIDS.
All right, we're being a little silly. Now we're silly.
Yeah, we're getting back in the habit.
Yeah.
Okay,
To
sorry.
quote
sorry.
George Carlin.
No,
cut
you
that
were
out.
quoting Sister Act 2.
Oh
cut-
yes.
cut-
That's who
cut-
I meant.
cut-
Whoopi
cut
Goldberg,
me out
known
saying that.
CIA
I don't wanna-
asset.
Uh-huh.
But before we get into Mr. Fred Crisman, as always, we're gonna do a little What's Weird this week.
Hey, and it's me first, right, guys?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. This
Don't
is Spencer.
break the cipher.
This is Spencer talking.
Oh, he's on Domino News again.
Yeah. Well, no. I'm on the smokinggun.com. This is on the crime
But
page.
it looks like a Domino's website. Because
well,
it's all
there's
red and blue.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like a Domino's menu. Yeah. Absolutely.
It does, doesn't it?
I bet it's sponsored by Domino's. I know it. That's how they get you.
Domino's,
That's how
I
they
have a
get
cool
you.
idea for a pizza delivery jacket that I've designed. If you would like to get a hold of me, please do so through the proper channels of this podcast whenever you wish.
Anyways, the feds caught a guy in L.A. County, California, delivering drugs,
The hell you
hardcore
say?
drugs. Yeah, using a little drone that you clip the little, you put the things on your eyes. It's like a Quest VR headset or whatever.
Oh.
And then so like that camera there on the top of the picture of the drone.
Yeah.
Like you can see out of the drone and you control it with your phone.
So
or
it's like
with the
you're
joystick.
riding it.
Yeah, so it's like first person view they call
What
it.
do those
or-
go for?
Or FPV. You can get an entry level one for like $180.
Yeah, that's
You
not
know,
bad.
one that you can link to your phone and you can control with a joystick on your phone screen. You know, and they go up from there. You know, I mean, they have some with like gyroscopic stabilization and everything. But anyways, this guy was using an entry level DJI. DJI is the brand. You can find lots of different models from DJI on the Amazon. Okay, so Los Angeles County, this fella gets caught delivering, dropping little bags of fentanyl to a woman.
That fatty wop.
Yeah, she was they don't list
Your mic's over there, Mike.
They don't list the age of the woman or any kind of name. She is just JK. It's just like Jane
Just
Doe
kidding. I didn't really want
kind
you
of
to
thing.
know.
She received the drugs based on the video that they got from the drone footage. She received the drugs and then she proceeded to overdose on fentanyl and died.
I mean, I guess you need the
God
camera.
damn.
That sucks if they downloaded your camera because you're basically recording yourself deliver the drugs.
The Christopher Laney 34 is the
Yeah,
guy.
That is
true.
a double-edged sword right there.
Fucking
It's like,
34-year-old.
It's like, yo, I get to use this remote control device to deliver drugs, but it's also documenting everything.
Man,
Yeah.
I have a bunch of old
mean-
FedEx jackets. If anyone wants to buy one to look
Apparently
like
the
people on
guy
there.
the guy had methamphetamine, also fentanyl and other drugs in his fucking place.
Yeah.
And who knows how long he's been doing this. This is still kind of just a few days
Christopher
old.
Laney.
Now the whole
Yeah.
34.
ghost
34.
ghost
Yeah.
guns. That's his.
Yeah, the guy, he got caught with the fucking 3D printed ghost guns too,
No,
like the
they're-
plastic
it-
guns.
It does it say they're plastic guns? 3D
Well, I
printed?
thought that's what ghost guns were.
No,
plastic.
anybody
It just
that-
means a different barrel, right?
You can legally make your own guns in America. They just put
Yeah.
that term on there. That is a little catchphrase. that
There's
law
no paper
enforcement-
trail.
Oh, the liberal media is
The
putting on
liberal
it.
media, even
That sounds like a liberal.
Spooky language.
But isn't aren't
firing
most
pin.
of those 3D printed guns
Look.
single use?
Short
the
use.
3D printed ones originally were basically not single use,
Like a
but
Derringer,
it was like
Yeah.
a single shot Derringer. But now they do have 3D printed AR-15 magazine or what you call them, receivers.
Yeah.
But you can also just buy an 80%. That's most of the ones that people were before the 3D printed thing. They were still calling them ghost guns, but it's basically a build your own gun kit. It's like
Yeah.
AR-15s are like Legos. That's why they're a really
Yeah.
popular gun, because you can literally change out any part of it and make a cool little kit of how
It's
you
all
want the
like
gun.
bolt on, screw on.
Everything's
shit.
bolt and screw,
No
punch
bump
and pin.
stocks.
It's that's the thing. People are like, oh, it's an assault weapon. It's also just the most really.
It's like the Legos of
it's
assault
a
weapons.
versatile way to make a gun. You
Yeah.
know, you can do a lot with it. You can hunt with it. You could snipe somebody. You could mow down a school with it. You know,
You can shoot a moose.
I'm just saying that's to cover all the grounds of
Yeah.
the thought of what an AR-15
A
is
hammer's
for.
just a tool. It's how you use it.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, that
Modular.
ghost guns is a loaded term, but technically
Okay.
anybody can manufacture their own firearm as long as it's not fully automatic.
Yeah.
It's perfectly legal. You are
okay. I
you
didn't know
are
that.
supposed to write a serial number on there afterward, but that could literally be your initials.
Yeah, and especially if it's a fucking plastic 3D printed gun, you just throw it in a fire afterwards, it turns into a bowl of shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, they put metal barrels.
Do they?
Yeah,
I thought.
it's not just plastic.
Oh.
You have to put some metal in there.
You know what Fetty Wap and
Okay.
TLC have in common?
One eye.
What's up?
Left eye dead.
Damn.
I would have spit that out earlier, but
That's pretty good.
I heard that from a Jin's ear.
Damn, baby, that's
Makes
cold.
me feel young.
Well.
Anywho, this fella is
So, yeah.
facing a minimum of 25 years if he's convicted of all charges. This is one of these drones that you can get goggles, kind of like the Quest or whatever the fuck VR goggles. So when you're flying the drone, it has a camera in front, so you see it's called first person view or FPV drones. And so you can see in real time in front of your eyes, like the 3D real time view that the drone is seeing. So it makes them quite a bit easier to fly, you know, because you're not scoping it from far away. You know, you're
So that's
seeing,
funny. So while he's doing that, he's looking. He's flying up to the window. He's like,
he's dropping little payloads.
well, I know, but he's looking at the person, so he can be like on the phone with him, like, yeah, I'm flying up on you right now. Show me the money. Put the money out. All right, set the money on the curb. You know,
Oh,
like,
no shit,
let
yeah.
me drop it down. Okay, cool.
Yeah, he
Like,
drops a little claw down, snatches it up, and then
That'd be funny
a
if the-
little pouch of drugs drops down.
If the drone was like, I got you, bitch. Serving you, bitch.
like
Yeah.
dropped a bunch of fake burner baggies with some baking soda in them and some shit.
Real.
Gotcha,
Just to
motherfucker.
create disconcert within the community, yeah. So anyways, He's fucked. You know, the thing
Not
is,
as much as the customer, apparently.
the customer died. Thank you for reminding me.
Oh, because the guy died.
Yeah, he delivered fentanyl to her, and then she died 18 hours
they've
later.
been changing the laws on that so that anybody that delivers a drug that kills somebody, they're facing charges.
So he's, you know, and
Minimum of
unfortunately,
25.
but see, this is the first story I've heard of this, of drone drug delivery. That means there's thousands going on every couple of hours nationwide. You know, this shit's gonna start popping up.
Shit, I
I
bet.
guarantee goddamn.
Nah, I guess in New York, I was thinking, man, that in New York that would be great. All the
We'll
buildings.
start using it with weed, but I
then I'm
swear
like,
to God,
wait a minute, they don't
fucking
like
drug
stuff flying
runners
around
are
in
using
New York.
drones to fly kilos over the fucking, you know.
But at the same time,
they've been doing that for a long time.
Well, yeah, but now
Soon
they
as
don't
they
have to
made
have a
drones-
pilot on the thing. You know, they can just fly the robot over. Yeah.
I'm saying, shit, these drones, they've been around for years.
Yeah.
They've
I mean,
been
yeah,
using
yeah,
drones that
and at the same time,
I'm
if there's
sure.
a video record that it
Yeah.
records of you committing a felony,
Yeah,
That's a
that's
bit of a
what
drawback.
sucks. Now, if it's broadcasting and that I don't know the ins and outs of a computer, you know, so I don't know how the radio frequency works. Can they just catch that shit out of the air and be like, let me just hack this guy's drone and we'll surveil him?
Yeah, they can.
Say
with-
the feds
with
get a
pinpoint
warrant and they're like, let me
radiated,
just. We know this guy's using a drone. We can
microwaves.
beam some kind of like.
You know what?
Snatches information out of the air.
now that you mention it, I bet there's a whole host of fucking drone legislation that we don't even fucking know about that allows them to basically one step over.
I mean, it's probably
on all
actually-
that
just
shit.
put scanners
It's probably
in the air
like
and
pretty
just
out in the
intercept.
open, but who the hell cares about those
Yeah.
laws? Nobody's like paying attention to that
Yeah.
law.
I mean, pretty soon. I mean, you know, every single flying device that's sold will have a fucking GPS tracker in it, no matter if it costs $250 or a fucking $100.
Oh god damn it!
So I mean, they'll just be able to see everything. You know what I mean?
I accidentally did the fucking update on my computer. I didn't want. Now it's installing some bullshit.
Jit.
Anyway,
Jit.
is it my turn? I gotta pull it.
Yeah, it's your turn, buddy. I'm
Well, you got it right there.
Your cable TV is
yeah.
experiencing difficulties. Please do not panic.
All
Resist
right.
the temptation to read or talk to loved
Well,
ones.
this one's a little,
Put your boner away,
a
boys.
little kooky, a little weird, a little coming up for
I
Halloween.
mean, her hair's fucked up.
Murder.
She's probably arrested.
Halloween murder season. This does
She's
seem
got
like
a wound on her face. Like
She got roughed up, I heard.
this
Yeah.
is a C-list horror movie story, or like the side quest in a C-list
abuse of
horror
a
movie.
corpse.
Like I could see this
Torture of
this
a dog.
bitch is the person that like helps bring Chucky back into a doll again.
Obstructing
Yeah, I can see
governmental
that.
operations.
All right.
What the fuck?
Kentucky spell-casting woman who allegedly cooked her mother's severed head had alias as aspiring actor. And then the little what are those? Is that a colon, semicolon? The two dots? What is the two dots called?
That's a colon.
That's a colon.
If it's a dot on top
That's
of
what
a
my
comma,
doctor said.
The dot on top of the comma is a semicolon.
Anyway.
If it's just two dots, it's a colon.
Right.
Right.
Right. Okay. The Kentucky woman accused of killing and dismembering her mother and then cooking her severed head and other body parts was an aspiring actor in California who went by a different name, and that different name was Spencer. You done scrolled away from it. Torlanella May Fields, 32, was arrested on October 9th following an. All right, so she went on. Yeah, Toralina.
The fuck kind of a name is that?
It's
Chat GPT. What's a Toralina?
I know this happened in Kentucky,
That is
but
California white woman.
yes, I was about to say this has Los Angeles written all over.
Yeah, her name is Toralina. Yeah, her mom was also probably an aspiring actress at one point in her life. Just like this woman. 32 was arrested on October 9th. It was an 11-hour standoff because a worker just happened to notice
Noters.
a disemboweled
Couldn't help
human
but
torso
You're
in the backyard.
disemboweled human.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. There it is.
That's probably what he sounded like.
Yeah.
Hello, Kentucky.
Fields has since been charged with the murder of her mother, Trudy Fields, after I don't know, Trudy Fields doesn't sound like an aspiring actress. Maybe she was. Maybe she had a different name
Maybe
too.
in the 70s.
After she emerged covered in blood from the Mount Olivet, Kentucky home where investigators found a charred and severed head.
No, yeah.
Oh, well, that's
I can't believe you actually looked that up because that is like one of many names now that
actually,
have
it turns out
no-
she's Kentucky born. Sorry, she's an aspiring actress, but
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
still in Kentucky.
No, yeah. There's many names that are completely made up these days. So.
Well, I mean, aren't they all made up?
Well, yeah, but I mean, some of them have traces back to.
Like, I've thought about that so many times
Yeah,
in
it
my
says
life.
it's not a
like,
word.
how did they? after you build up
It's always
all
something about
the
God's
grunts,
love.
the
or
grunts.
Christ's
No, I'm just
love.
talking about like the literal development.
Mushroom.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Oh, the cavemen ate mushrooms. And then
That's how it's
yeah, they remembered the words.
I'm a monkey.
Marlena PPS resin.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck?
She was alongside a pile of hair and a blood-soaked mattress, one that covered human organs and other severed parts, according to police. Fields first allegedly shot her mother in the head, and also, in this is in quotations, intentionally tortured and killed a dog. According to the
Oh,
indictment
fuck this
obtained
bitch.
by a local, she killed the dog. I know.
I don't know her mom or whatever. I don't really give a shit.
Yeah,
but
there's nothing good.
You know what?
There's
Maybe-
nothing good you can get out of slaughtering a dog.
Maybe that dog was a fucking asshole. I've
Maybe.
met a lot
If
of dogs.
anything, you
that
slaughter
probably
another
deserve
animal
to
and feed it
slaughter.
to the dog.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it was all part of a ritual.
Maybe it was a
apparently.
Holocaust denier.
Blood.
A
had some good ideas, huh?
Okay, so the worker that found the body that she had called, apparently needed some help in her yard, said that she was confrontational and was casting spells on him. Fields' family members were shocked and devastated by the gruesome murder and told the news station she had recently moved back to her mother's Kentucky house after
witch. I'm a fucking witch.
after living in California. She went and
I
got
think she
that
was-
California commie bullshit all up in her
I went to
brain.
California and I listened to a seashell, and now
Now
I'm
she's a-
fucking communist.
Gay, Satan-worshiping communist.
I think she was trying to cast a spell on me.
And
You sure she wasn't just waving at you?
ate your mother.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, shit.
that's how they do in Hollywood.
All right, guess her fake name.
Well, you boiled off her flesh and made a spreadable head cheese. It's a good way to utilize usually inedible parts.
Guess her fake name.
Oh, it's not Toralina Fields?
No.
What is it?
Dung hunger.
Mung Junkie.
Oh my god. It's a single name. It's just Navarre.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Navarre.
I
She was
mean, you
in
clean
2
up.
movies.
You clean her up. She looks all right.
She
but-
did 2 movies in 2019.
Wouldn't throw her out of bed.
That's
for eating-
where I know her
I
from.
wouldn't throw her out of bed for eating ketamine.
I think it's crackers.
Yeah, she got the boob job in LA.
Didn't notice that.
A Kentucky 10 turned into an LA 4.5.
Ooh.
At 2, I
Anyway,
went home with
which
a
is like a
10, and
Wisconsin
at 10, I
7.
woke up with a 2.
Yeah, so anyway, she killed her mom. She ate her. They said she was doing spells.
You're doing speed.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's
You know what, she
probably
might-
some Kentucky druggage involved. You know, I mean, you
That
come
good
back
old,
from LA.
good old boy Crank.
Yeah.
I do believe I saw one of the interviews with one of the police officers who found her, and I think it was the guy. I think this is where the phrase "lusty ox" came from. I think that's the guy. He was like, "We came to the apartment or with the property." He had like a weird
Oh.
deep voice.
No,
I don't think
I thought
that
I was talking about that Kentucky sheriff that went
Oh,
through
that's
the
right.
brain
God
out.
damn,
Yeah.
Kentucky's
Lot-
popping up. lately.
That's when I did that.
Kentucky's
yeah.
pretty active.
Yeah.
Pretty active lately.
Well,
Well, there's lots of manufacturing out there
I bet.
and lots of mining.
Here's a quote. I
Secret
think
herbs and
somebody has
spices.
lost control of their mind. Todd Brock. Satanism or something had her brainwashed. Whatever witchcraft is? Question mark. I heard she was into it, but the girl in the mugshot, that's not the girl we know. That his name was Todd Brock.
That's definitely.
Todd Brock.
Mm.
That's a total Kentucky hillboy. Like that.
Officer
That
Todd
dude's
Brock.
got a lifted truck and
And when you say his name, your mouth goes Todd Brock.
And one of those
Yeah.
gray American flags with a blue line in the middle.
yeah.
There's gonna be one of those. In
Hey.
Yeah, and several family members and like stick figures, and then like guns and stick figures as
Yeah.
part of
And
the
then
family.
one of them's like crouching down in front of a cross, like
Yeah, that
Cowboy
one.
Church.
Calvin pissing on a Ford.
I don't know if they have. Maybe they. I'm sure they have Cowboy Church in Kentucky.
Oh god damn.
Because that's a franchise, right? That's not just.
no. Well, there's Cowboy Church is like a genre.
Is it a? I thought it was a franchise. Like-
No. There's lots of different places all over the world that are popping up left and right. that
Religions
Cowboy
are pretty
churches.
much franchise.
I mean, that's how I feel. You know?
Yeah, they're church franchises. Yeah, yeah.
You know what? Maybe one day I get $30,000, I'm gonna franchise a church.
Remember that movie Leap of Faith with Steve Martin?
Yeah.
Oh god, we could do that shit. Fucking do an evangelical tent raising fucking.
Oh wait, I'm
snake
thinking of
charming.
My Blue Heaven. I haven't seen that one.
Oh, My Blue Heaven's good fucking too, dude.
You're so hot
You
that
could
you can't stand in the frozen food section.
have milked all this.
Melt.
I'm gonna jam a fudgicle up your ass and run away.
That was not part of the movie.
Oh, that was
That was in the
interesting.
outtakes and the DVD
okay.
commentary.
I thought we were talking about the frozen food section.
It's like he kind of was
Hard
doing
nipples.
an impression of Dice Clay.
Kinda, yeah.
You know. Anyway, that was my story. I don't know. The lady killed a dog. Her mom ate a little bit. Worshipped a little Satan.
You know, our mom may have deserved it, but the fucking dog didn't. I'll just say that right now.
Actually,
I'll say
will,
that right now.
I will flip that. Maybe the dog deserved it and the mom didn't. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Maybe she got molested by the dog. We don't know.
Stranger things have happened at sea, dude.
What I don't understand.
Maybe
is,
that woman and her dog have been beating that poor girl for years. That old lady, that was old lady's dog.
Every time you reach over to get toilet paper, the dog fucking nips your hand.
Yeah, the mom abused her daughter. You know, have you ever been in a fight around somebody that has a dog? Like,
yeah, they get fucking.
the
like,
dog
up in your
automatically
face,
jumps on
Yeah.
whoever's jumping on their person.
Yeah.
So that was her mom's dog, and her mom beat her, and then the dog beat her, and then it was a joint. That's what she finally flipped out and got him.
Chris with some fan fiction here.
Absolutely.
Slash
An
fiction, I believe
alternate
it's
reality.
The
Yeah,
only
like
thing
it.
I got
like
left is part of my mind right now, and it's kind of working. So
I just don't understand what the.
It very well could be.
What the.
There's a very good reason. There's very good, believable reasons for killing a dog. You know, maybe if she.
Well, I mean,
there's a difference between torture and killing an animal. I mean, and this could be spun. I'm saying the story that we're getting on this fucking website.
I mean, if this was all
might
ritualistic,
not be all the whole fucking truth.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean? Yeah.
I doubt that, and you know what? I doubt this woman because I still don't, you know, in all the like occult literature I've
You look
read,
sad.
I don't understand
You
what
look
the
geeked
end
out.
game is of this whole quote unquote ritualistic murder.
I think it's all made up. Man.
it is.
I think she
Yeah.
was probably fucking
Well,
snitching
It's just
on
a
the wrong
justification
cop.
to
She
do
She
whatever
saw a
bullshit.
cop in the fucking budget inn downtown and getting blown by a fucking slew of choir boys, and then she just fucking, you know, so I'm gonna tell, and then the cop fucking.
Well, the cop said
Unalives
that's not the what's her name? Toralina we know.
Yeah.
So maybe it was the cops back then.
Operation Kill Toralina.
This is all speculation, by the way.
3, 2, 1. Get Toralina.
Make rocket go now.
the arrest report did not specify what kind of drug.
Yeah, yeah.
We all know.
There's
Ain't hard
probably
to tell.
Methamphetamine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So,
what are you gonna
speaking also of drugs, I did have a story that I was going to get into about a former Canadian Olympic snowboarding champion who was recently arrested for trafficking cocaine amongst other drugs. The fact
Get
that
it? He's snow, cocaine.
Yeah. Also, the mid-90s rapper, quote-unquote, Snow, is from Canada, and he had that famous song, Inform. Skidolio, skibum bum day.
Okay, the conspiracy
Yeah.
comes together. I see it.
Yeah, it's, of course. It all makes sense now. But you know what? I have something even more pertinent I want to discuss. It's the fact that, how deep are we in? About, we're 30 minutes in, so I can say whatever the fuck I want now. YouTube is trying to silence us. That's the one. So recently I got a a warning, a slap on the wrist for our podcast as it appears on YouTube. I mean, we're on all the shit basically through an RSS feed. I think our main hub is Spotify, as far as I know, and they feed into everything else. But for those who watch YouTube, I'm sure you know that they have extremely stringent censorship rules. It's gotten worse over the years, and what the real problem is that it's not human beings doing the censorship in most of these cases. It's fucking algorithms. The
Artificial intelligences.
Yeah, the thing we got popped for was specifically, and it was me who did it, mentioning the words. But if a human had been listening to this, they would have realized I said, "Instigate you on horseshit."
Yeah, and
they
you said
would've
this
known.
is not.
Yeah,
QAnon.
this is
Pizzagate.
bullshit.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
not real. So there's
You're
no
refuting it.
there's no contextual review by the algorithm overlords. So they basically banned or kicked off our part 1 of the Mark Dutroux case, which
course.
also
Highly suspect.
yeah, it's also highly suspect. Now, we're talking about YouTube, and this is a company that not too long ago had a serious scandal on their hands with ElsaGate and children
That
finding
shit was.
inappropriate videos. Yes.
Yep.
So I just want to say overall that YouTube can suck my Johnson black ass bunch of motherfucking skanky Diddy party,
Spotty lip,
Baby
bug-eyed
oil.
pieces of shit.
snake licking, mung junkie, butt huffing, bitch ass,
No, he got it. He got it. Yeah. He got it.
fucking
He got it.
semen frosted sack of ass licking,
Mormons?
Mormon, Warhol, can of soup, swallowed up a butthole, horse dick sucking. Did I say horse jizz already?
Dick sucking
Dick
son
sucking,
of a bitch
cock
on fire.
smoking, purple meat hammer eating, ass gobbling.
Can we say that
pieces
they
of
should
shit.
commit?
No, that's a bit far. Hallelujah, happy horse
Bleep
shit.
that out.
Holy hell.
Where's the Tylenol?
And I gotta say that this all leads into me basically saying that I hate to trot this horse out. I
Horse?
very rarely do it. Yes, this dead horse I have to beat occasionally. But we do have a support this podcast.
Oh, Mike, we don't have a horse. Horses are expensive.
No, yeah. Metaphorically speaking.
It's a donkey.
I wish we had a donkey.
We do have a support this
We got
podcast.
a three-legged fucking donation dog.
His name is Jorge. We have a support this podcast option in our show notes. If you go to YouTube, unfortunately, I have to say it there. It's in the show notes for every episode, but it says support this podcast, KCIP. And I am very hesitant to always roll this out because we don't want your money, but that helps us maintain autonomy.
I'll take it.
And it lets us say whatever the fuck we want. And I just want to tell you now, the options are 99 cents a month. Or if you're feeling super generous, $4.99 a month. I'm not even going to mention a third because that's fucking ridiculous. Nobody wants to pay that for a podcast.
I mean, people that might want to see a little skin.
Little taint, little bottom nut.
Yeah.
Hey, contact me.
I suntan my taint twice a week on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Taint misbehaving.
Yeah, it's called, the group is called Taint Misbehaving. It's me and about 7 other Greek men, and we sun our taint in the sun.
I'm familiar with the process.
It's from
I
4
heard about
p.m. to 6 p.m.
Yeah, you gotta
on
get
Mondays and Wednesdays.
the Grundle son, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's good for your inner flora.
I hear if you get your butthole skin
It's
to
good
the
for
direct vitamin D yeah. No.
It's good for your butthole flora, which is good for your stomach
Yeah.
flora.
So
which
you
is
see,
good
if
for your heart flora, and
All
your
right.
heart chakra.
I'll throw it
So to
out.
speak.
There is a $9.99 gold platinum uranium member
And
level.
you can see my asshole.
And yeah, you'll get all the pictures of Spencer's asshole you want. I'll throw in a couple of my own fucking malformed pig screw tail penis fucking from all the disasters I've lived through. And just whatever you want at that point, because
I'll
if you're
do the I sat and gum thing.
Yeah.
bat wings.
We'll send you naughty shit if you pay $10 a month. Come on.
Yeah, for real. All you gotta do is be like, hey,
If anything, it'd be funny for your friends.
yeah, contact us through Kooks and Cranks, all written out, 3 words, all together, at gmail.com.
Yep.
Let us know that if you pledge to that level, then holy shit, you technically,
We'll be your familiar.
Yeah.
For a marked amount of
You,
time.
you earned at least pictures of our assholes. At least. So, yeah. Once again, I fucking hate advertising, but sooner or later it's going to come down to that. So we're going to have to, like, pick and choose what's coming or whatever, and what
Spencer's
we're
gonna definitely like any of those subscriptions to the mail medicines and stuff. Well, Blue Chew,
Yeah.
that's what all the podcasts
Blue
advertise.
Chew, yeah,
Blue
yeah.
Chew, Blue Chew,
Yeah.
and Butcher Box.
oh yeah.
Box, box of awesome. The
blurp all their names out. They're not paying us.
bespoke
Those
post.
guys.
Perhaps what
on,
is
hit
it?
me
BetterHelp? You might need some BetterHelp after listening to some of the content.
All right,
Uh,
this whole
mine-
episode's
mine-
getting beeped out.
Mind Bloom
Ketamine
ketamine
treatments.
treatments.
No, just bring the ketamine stuff.
Those are good too.
They can pay us in ketamine.
Send us free samples of the ketamine chewables, and
So, yeah.
we'll pimp your shit for you.
Yeah,
Mind
and
blown.
you will definitely get a mention, and we will we will do the audio equivalent of slap and tickle on your genitals over the air
Yeah,
for
I'll
everyone
touch
to
Mike,
hear.
or Mike will touch me. I mean, at $10 a month, I mean, you
fuck.
get to call the shots.
Yeah, I don't even expect that from people, but 99 cents a month. Fucking, if you can do it, that's like a coffee.
$10 a month for penetration.
That's all. That's mostly gonna go into the show.
This is all
But
getting cut out.
I do live with my senior citizen parents who are cool enough to let me work this out to try to be a career to a degree.
Yeah, they've
So-
put soundproofing material along the hallway.
Oh yeah, and I don't have to hear
Uh,
them get busy either.
Yeah.
My sister helped me out with buying a
It's
lot
more
of
like it's kind
material.
of like a torture
Big ups to
chamber
her.
in there.
So yeah, any money that you can send that we don't have to fuck with advertising
This is all
and
good.
can maintain autonomy, and I can buy some groceries here and there. Yes. And that's what's weird this week. So, Fred Crisman, once again, as we mentioned earlier, this guy is the, I would say, epitome of a spook, bullshitter, demagogue, rabble-rouser, agent provocateur, if you will. We're going to be using several sources tonight, which will be in the show notes if you want to go further down the rabbit hole on this guy, because some of it gets very complex, and we are not getting complex tonight.
We are not getting complex.
We're just going to hit kind of the main points, but they will be in the show notes if you want to travel down the rabbit hole, because some of it is very fucking intriguing and interesting. But he does have a
Intriguing.
Wikipedia page.
Yes.
Intriguing. He does have a Wikipedia page, but I will say, ironically, we are going to use as one of our main sources, the Twin Peaks fan site Wikipedia entry or wiki entry on him, because I feel this is a better representation. There is one bit.
Yeah, this
mentioned
is
that's-
more to the point and precise. Yeah.
There's one bit that's mentioned that's total bullshit that was made for the show.
And every name has links to go into them. Yeah.
But other than the one part that mentions him and Nixon and a fictional character from the show, most of this is right on the money.
Okay.
So let's see here. Fred Crisman, aka Dr. John Gold, not a doctor. You will hear later that he sort of ran a diploma mill shill bullshit. He was offering people various diplomas in depth psychology.
Hey, he was signed up as like a preacher of
Man,
sorts.
and
You know,
I
he
keep
would sign up as
thinking,
holy man.
why the
Wandering
fuck haven't
bishop.
I done this shit? All this shit's legal.
Yeah.
You
He's
know?
a bishop in the Universal Life Church, which I am a pastor in.
Yep.
But
You
once
are.
again, yeah.
What do you know about Crisman?
Once again, these wandering bishops guys are all over the JFK assassination, but we'll get into that. Let's see, he was born 1918 or possibly 1919. There's different sources who beg to differ on that. He died in 1975 at the age of 56 of kidney failure in Seattle Veterans Hospital.
Here's the
He was
regular
a
Wikipedia.
almost lifelong resident of Tacoma, Washington. As far as his career trajectory goes, this guy's had so many fucking different jobs. This is why I think he's a spook bullshitter. Let's see. Starting from World War II, not counting any of his jobs before that, he was a fighter pilot, allegedly an OSS/CIA agent. He was a teacher, a principal. He was a Boeing company employee.
Was he the janitor?
He was the employee advocate. He was kind of like a union rep for the
Well, yeah,
employees.
I heard salesman also that he was in charge.
I think to be in the union or be a union rep, you still have to have a job with the company.
Yes. The Jim Garrison, who is played by Kevin Costner in the JFK film, that he comes into play. Fred Crisman comes into play in the JFK assassination later as well. The court subpoena that Jim Garrison put out for Fred Crisman mentioned several times that he works for the military industrial complex, and he was a salesman to the Army and Armed Forces, Air Force, etc., of large industrial scale equipment.
What was referred to as hardware, right?
Yeah, hardware.
I'm sorry.
So,
I really wanted to try to do my Kevin Costner Southern lawyer bit.
back
but
to the left.
My throat's still a little choppy.
Oh yeah, we're all recovering, by the way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
this is what you get.
We said.
But I think we'll knock your socks off either way.
I feel fine.
Let's see. He was a freelance writer, a speechwriter, and once again a wandering bishop in the Universal Life Church. He was a marine salvage business owner, a right-wing radio show host. This motherfucker was so right-wing, he was flying in circles left and right, if that makes sense. He was, a veterans advocate, as Spencer mentioned, a political advocate / pain in the ass, propagandist, a con man, and, once again, a diploma mill shill. Let's see. Crisman served with the OSS, and this, once again, this is according to the Twin Peaks wiki. We'll get into the actual Wikipedia wiki in just a second.
Right here.
But according to the Twin Peaks wiki, and like I said, I think it's more accurate, Crisman served with the OSS during World War II as a liaison to the British Royal Air Force. He flew several combat missions in Europe and Asia. True, this is all true. He flew his last mission on May 26, 1945, and allegedly came across a Lemurian cave in Burma.
That's where you find them.
He was shot down there, right, in Burma?
Yes, he was shot down. And now this is the
Did
first.
he get a head injury?
I think so, actually. He definitely had PTSD, for which the.
Wait. Okay.
Battle fatigue.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, they call it battle fatigue.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot harder men.
Yeah.
Then.
Shell shock.
Yeah, back then
battle
you
fatigue,
just
Shell
PTSD.
shock was World War One.
Yeah.
Battle fatigue was World War Two.
See George Carlin bit about the softening of language.
Yeah. Anyway, what era did he finally come out with this story about the Lemurians? Because I want
as
to.
early as 1946.
I think it was 1946.
Okay.
Yeah, is when he
Yeah.
started writing
All right,
letters
because
to
the Lemurians, that's Blavatsky and shit, isn't it?
Well, yeah, like, okay. I did an
The
old
Amazing
episode
Which had
for
been
old
around
guys.
since 1919.
Oh, yeah.
Here
Like
we go.
late 1800s, I believe it was first mentioned. Crisman wrote a letter to Ray Palmer of what was it called? Amazing Stories. Yes. And throughout Ray Palmer's career as the editor of Amazing Stories, they ran a reoccurring sort of theme with these stories, largely given to them and submitted by a man named Richard Sharp Shaver, aka Dick Shaver. Dick Shaver,
Cool name.
is
kind of like Peter Gazer.
got you looking. Tricks.
Peter Gazer, I'd like you to meet Dick
I had
Shaver.
to throw that in at some point.
Yeah.
Richard Sharp Shaver, he wrote this whole series of largely they have to be fictional, but they play on all kinds of presuppositioned ideas such as Hollow Earth and strange alien entities living underground who are on a separate
Cyborg underground.
evolutionary offshoot.
Yeah.
They moved underground because they couldn't stand the solar radiation and took a whole other offshoot or evolutionary offshoot from humanity. And these entities became known
like
as the
graboids.
Darrows. The Darrows have access to secret technology that can cause intense psychological and physiological pain or pleasure.
Or memory erasure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, in the same vein that we've seen time and time again with people who have repeated contact with alien entities, there is a strange, weird sexual undertone or quite explicit overtone, as with Richard
everything
Shaver.
in life has a sexual.
Oh, yeah. These Darrows would abduct people and torture them. They're basically like mutant Cenobites that live underground. And Richard Shaver, a schizophrenic gentleman, by the way, I should mention. So, muddying the waters. Anywho, Crisman claims that when his plane was shot down over the island of Burma, he talked to these islanders, and this is the first. This is the first story in his overarching saga that kicks up the dirt of like
Saga
what's
horse shit.
fucking going on here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Tell me about
Or is
it.
So he talked to the villagers of Burma, and he was like, I'm going to do some exploring until, I contacted my fellow soldiers. They're going to come get me at some point, but I'm going to do a little exploring. And they were like, don't go into the underground mountains and caves.
Whatever you do, don't go down that road.
Don't go
You
down
don't go down
cave.
that cave.
But he did.
Don't go cave.
Apparently, he got into a crazy kung fu laser ray gun battle with these Daros who were in the midst of sacrificing someone. He
Weren't
will
they
eventually.
like cave Nazis or something too?
That's
There was
what
like
they call it. We'll include a. There's
See, that's
a.
what I'm wondering how closely. I don't know because I didn't go too far into it. But do you know how closely his Lemuria follows the Blavatsky Lemuria?
Not very. I would say he's more akin to the Richard Shaver mythology.
Because it wasn't even Blavatsky that made Lemuria, right? It wasn't.
No,
it was another guy before.
It's like an evolutionary theorist.
I can't fucking.
Because
remember
lemurs.
Lemurs,
he
yeah,
said that
evolution,
like they
yeah,
were
yeah.
on this island and this landmass
Yes,
because it was all together at one
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
After the
Anyway.
the Mari Island or whatever. Is it Mari Povich Island?
Maury Island.
Yeah.
That's how I've heard it said.
The thing is, Crisman, he claims there was some FBI. This is the first the Men in Black thing.
Yes, this is also
he was encountered by some FBI investigators.
not him, but his business partner.
His
Quote
business
unquote.
partner. Yeah.
In what business was that?
Martin and Smith.
The marine
Davidson.
salvage business.
Yeah.
That's sketchy, Sam.
Yeah, there are some people who.
No, you can make good money. Like there's a lot of sunken boats.
Oh yeah, there are some people who postulate that this is how he supposedly also had inside knowledge of UFOs because of underwater.
Contracted by the CIA,
Like
Yeah,
USOs.
to get
Yeah.
Or
a
unidentified submersible.
crashed aircraft that fucking went down
Oh,
in the ocean. There's
Yeah.
so much good shit in the ocean we don't know.
Cancer drugs.
How much shit has been lost into the ocean that really wasn't supposed to be in the ocean?
So he found this cave, and supposedly he had a fellow soldier with him who died in the fracas.
And who was not interviewed.
Yeah, never given a name. However, years later,
He was
this
there.
story would kind of repeat itself because while, I don't know, kicking back in Alaska in the 50s, much later, he claimed that he encountered another Darrow cave with another friend of his named Dick. That was the only name given. And Dick was murdered.
Wait, is this the second Dick he's hanging out with?
No, that was Dick Shaver. Dick Shaver's the guy who came up with the whole mythology, basically.
Okay.
But Fred Crisman and several other people wrote into Amazing Fantasy, and they were like, don't fuck around with this shit. It's real. I'm telling you. Like, we've looked underground. We've gotten mental transmissions from this shit. So Ray Palmer, the guy who was the editor of Amazing Fantasy.
Amazing Stories.
Or Amazing Story, excuse me. He was like, well, shit, let's, we got a weird, like, meta-narrative going on. We got a weird, like, reality versus fiction melding kind of thing. So let's milk it for all it's worth.
This will be great for the readership.
Yeah, and people started sending in all these letters like, I know exactly what you're talking about because I've run into these motherfuckers before. And so it adds a slight verisimilitude, if you will, to it. Like,
get
there's
the fuck out of here with that
once
word.
again, thank you, smell my potpourri. Under my nuts. Yes, it adds a muddying of the waters, which you're going to see throughout this entire episode is a fucking theme with this guy. So he apparently kicked a bunch of ass in this Darrow cave and escaped and told the U.S. government, and later wrote into Amazing Stories and said, don't fuck around with this because it's real.
They got ray guns. They
I
got
almost
shot with
died.
them.
Yeah, I have a dime-sized hole in my arm.
That's cauterized from the inside.
A giant scar across my chest. And this leads me to believe that decades later, Phil Schneider, if any of our listeners are familiar with him, he's the guy who said that he was contracted by the government and they were building an underground base and he broke in
Dulce,
underground. to the Dulce base, and he and a Green Beret or Delta Force soldier, Green Delta Beret,
Yeah.
whatever. They had a shootout with aliens, and
A Chuck Norris type.
yeah, and he was giving all these talks around, the
In
nation.
fact, I heard it was Chuck Norris.
touring and telling his story to all these people, and he had missing fingers and a giant scar across his belly, and he was like, "This is what the alien ray guns did to me."
Oh, this dude did videos where he
Yeah.
showed this.
Yeah.
Okay, I have seen this guy.
The problem with that guy, though, is that he was kind of in and out of mental institutions through his
things,
life.
yeah.
He was collecting radioactive material for I don't know, like
Yeah.
a decade. So that might explain his deformities, but a lot of people have tried to build off what he's saying. And
Yeah, radium is extremely radioactive,
Oh, yeah.
toxic.
his death is very questionable as well. Phil Schneider's is. Fucking Fred Crisman died in Old Man in a hospital of kidney failure. But Phil Schneider, people found
He had
him with a catheter tied
Yeah.
around his throat. And
The
I've
pee-pee
seen the
tube.
fucking
Oh, that's
autopsy
gross.
pictures, and they're fucking rough. So,
Really? I
Yeah.
have to look those up.
Like, he
It's
was
hard
there
to
for
do
like,
something like that to yourself, man.
Yeah, especially with the way his fingers are. He kept saying, like, people have tried to kill me several times, etc. But there's so many similarities between these stories. It's almost like it's out of a playbook or something. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm penoid. Let's see, 1946.
Casting aspersions on
The videos of
believing
that guy
anything.
they were like in small little conference rooms in
Yeah,
hotels.
like at a community college, or it looked like.
No,
or some shit.
they were Motel 6 banquet rooms. They were every one of the videos. I saw like 2 or 3 videos with that guy, like clips. I might not watch the whole thing because it does kind of drone on.
Yeah.
But they're always in like the hotel of a Ramada.
And after-
Ramada hotel banquet room. That's the one.
That guy, Phil Schneider specifically, like, he would give a whole hour and a half, 2-hour talk of like, we found these aliens working on bases with government contractors underground. And then he'd give like a 2-hour talk that kind of made sense and sounded like, okay, this is possible. And at the very end, he'd be
feasible.
like, Janet Reno's a lesbian. She rapes all your daughters, and just says some weird fucking shit at the end. And it's like,
The PTA is signing on with the Nazis.
well,
I mean, that's some
you'll
of the
see.
shit.
It's like that spaghetti fiasco. You know?
oh yeah, because we can't say the other thing.
Because we
I
can't
got
say
you.
the other thing. So from now on, it's spaghetti fiasco.
The unhappy meal.
Yeah.
Let's see. By 1947,
I'm
Crisman
lost.
was an active
Oh.
officer. Yeah.
Oh, right.
By 1947,
Pizza-pate.
Crisman was an active officer with the United States Army Air Force Reserve. He worked in marine salvage, as mentioned before, and was employed by the Department of Veterans Affairs, as mentioned before. Additionally, he was an active CIA agent, allegedly. Assigned to the Pacific Northwest as a special investigator at large, quote unquote. On June 21st, a man by the name of Harold Dowell, an employee at the marine salvage business owned by Crisman, reported to his boss, Crisman, an incident at Puget Sound Harbor near Mooring Island where he sighted 6 unidentified aircraft bringing him metallic fragments dropped by one of the objects and camera film. That's a weird way to put it. Camera film he had taken of these unidentified flying objects. Crisman contacted both the Tacoma Times police beat reporter Paul Lance and his friend, the aforementioned Ray Palmer of Amazing Stories, about the incident, and they supposedly also mailed Ray Palmer some of these metal slag fragments that were melted off of this malfunctioning UFO, so to speak.
Yeah, it seems like it was a little.
Or was it functioning perfectly well?
Yeah,
Just
maybe.
taking a shit on people. It
Yeah.
killed the dog.
But the metal was like aluminum.
Look, it
and,
wasn't made
like
for the
aluminum,
dog, okay?
Aluminum slag from a foundry.
Yeah, they
aluminum with impurities burned into it.
We'll also include. I found a site called muckrock.com that.
Ew.
Well, it's like muckrake. You know, I think that's the
where they
plan
eat a
word.
shitload of food.
But
That's mukbang.
Mukbang. Oh, okay.
Nico Avocado.
That's why I said
whoever
ew.
that horrible
Yeah.
person is. I read the FOIA requests, which are all throughout that page. You can get all the FOIA requests to download or read through that site, which will be included in the show notes. But
FOIA means, once again, for our viewers,
fuck off and enter ass.
Yeah. Freedom of Information Act. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Show me your ID.
Feels about the
before we
same.
bang.
Oh wait, enter's not spelled with an I.
Enter.
Oh wait, fuck off, insert ass, whatever. I don't know.
You'll get it. Yeah.
Release the documents, did he?
The dog was killed by the slag, apparently, in this whole incident that went down. And Harold Dahl, the man who was on the boat with his son and 2 other workers who are unnamed, I assume
Unnamed and
they're
uninterviewed.
probably undocumented to some degree. I don't know. But yes,
They're in
this
Washington, so
This eventually led to what was known as the Maury Island Incident, and Fred Crisman, being the boss, he fucking insinuates himself to fucking back.
I remember hearing about that, like in the mid '90s when I first got the History Channel back on regular cable. You know,
Yeah.
they talked about the aluminum slag like falling all over the boat and everything, but they didn't go much further than that.
I was gonna say the FOIA thing. The only one really worth the shit out of those, I think it's like 4 or 5 FOIA files. There's a 33-page one that goes into meticulous detail of the entire Maury Island incident as it's come to be known today. They paint it all as it's a hoax. But, I mean, once again, this is one of those stories, yes, and it's, this is government intermediary. So that's why I don't trust FOIA.
They should bring out the real Maury. And he will tell you who is the father.
Bring Connie Chung along as well.
My whole thing is if the alien ship dropped all this slag and was acting like it was malfunctioning, and none of the other ships dropped this slag, so one would think that there's something wrong with the ship.
Yeah, like
how did it just fly back off?
The witnesses, quote unquote, in this incident said
maybe they shit aluminum.
Yeah, I think it was a total of
aluminum as a waste product.
I think it was a total of 10
know.
UFOs.
Mercury for blood and lead for shit.
Acid for blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a total of 10 UFOs, I believe. I could be wrong on that number. I don't have the specifics in front of me. But
I wasn't there.
Yeah. I heard from a friend of my cousin's baby's mom and sister.
And they put it on the internet, and I read it.
They know a few things about a few things.
So it must be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other UFOs, like, circled around this thing. And also a weird... I don't know, very, very distinct part of this is that all these UFOs they saw were donut shaped. They're not necessarily flying saucers, but this all occurred in 1947, and 1947 is a banner fucking year for weird shit.
Yeah.
We've got Roswell, the
baby
saucer
boom was started, and
yeah.
After the war, there
saucer
was like
sightings everywhere.
Period of prosperity and technology.
I see. In the fall of 1947, Crisman participated in a college community theater.
Really?
Yeah.
He does have an artistic side.
He had to get his acting and creative juices fucking trained in. Yeah.
You may be more correct than you know.
Yep.
Let's see. On June 21st, Harold Dahl, an employee at the marine salvage business, reported to Crisman an incident at Puget Sound Harbor near Maury Island where he sighted 6 unidentified aircraft. That's how many. Bringing him metallic fragments dropped by one of the objects and camera film he had taken. Yes, there were supposedly pictures of all this, but no,
they were
those
very blurry and fucked off.
Yeah, nope, those have never materialized
and then
ever.
There was lots of slag. But see, the thing is, Dahl, he reported it was like 20 tons of shit. And then they went out there. He said it was like what 20,000 pounds, like a whole shitload of metal fell from this.
It was
airplane.
like raining metal, like slag,
like
basically.
enough to almost sink the fucking boat.
Yeah,
and then like
and killed the
I
dog.
believe he said it was like it looked like it must have been at least 20 tons of metallic material. There was nothing else except for what was it fell. Like I've heard reports where it's like melted where it falls down like soft, and then it slumps across the material of the boat, and burns it like it is hot.
Yeah.
But then I've heard reports that it's cold and it's just like chunks of slag like from the top of
already solidified.
Yeah, already solidified and oxidized. I've heard both reports.
So after this took place on the evening of July 30th, Crisman and Dahl traveled to the Winthrop Hotel and met with Kenneth Arnold of saucer fame. Like Kenneth Arnold is like the guy who kicked off the whole
Kenneth
fucking.
Arnold, refresh my memory.
He was a independent pilot who was one of the first like regular just Joes basically to report seeing flying saucers.
Okay.
He kind of kicked off the whole thing. There's actually a really good comic book series, if I can real quick, from Dark Horse Comics called Blue Book that basically lays out the whole fucking early 40s foundation or, 1940s post-war foundation of the quote-unquote saucer craze.
Which is also
Project
along
Blue
the
Book.
same timeline as the development of the transistor, which is a semiconductor.
There was
before-
a whole lot of
I
things
mean, it makes you
going
think
on
it's
around
like
that.
some reverse
Dude.
engineering shit.
Once
like,
again,
we
1947.
had vacuum tubes before like 1947 when the transistor was invented.
Well, it all goes into the whole thing with the aliens where they spend a lot of time around nuclear sites. Right after fucking World War II, 45, we dropped the bomb. Running up to that, we were setting off fucking our first nuclear bombs in the few years up to that. And then after that, what happens? Fucking aliens everywhere.
Yeah. Well, yeah, in the modern sense, I mean, you can obviously go the whole ancient aliens route. This is the modern flying saucer craze of the Cold War era.
Yeah, it's when they started giving them a name of flying saucers.
Yeah,
Before
and actually,
that,
Kenneth Arnold and I believe
they're
also
just like sky ships.
Dahl and Crisman through Ray Palmer and Amazing Stories. I think it was mostly Kenneth Arnold, but he's the one who coined the term flying saucer. He said that they flew like saucers skipping on the water.
Yep.
Let's see. On the evening of July 30th, Crisman and Dahl traveled to the Winthrop Hotel. They met with Kenneth Arnold, who had also claimed to have seen UFOs the previous month, and showed him the fragments. The group decided to share the story with United Airlines pilot Emil J. Smith and military intelligence investigators Captain Davidson and a Lieutenant Brown. Smith, Davidson, and Brown joined them for another meeting the following morning, though Dahl was absent. The reason Dahl was absent is because between the first and second meeting, allegedly, a man in black showed up to his house and said, "Hey, all that UFO shit you're talking, shut the fuck up."
This is a nice shipping business you got here. It'd be a shame to see anything happen
Something
to it.
happened to it? Yeah. Same for his family. What's also weird about this whole incident is that this hotel, the Winthrop Hotel that they met at, when Dahl went to go...
Winthrop or Winthorpe?
I think it's Winthrop. Hold on. Winthrop, according to these notes. The hotel they went to, the Winthrop, when Dahl got there, there was already a room booked in his name. And he was like, oh,
Nobody knew why. Is this like...
How presumptuous of you.
Yeah. Ooh.
Buy a guy dinner first.
So there were two meetings at this hotel, and it's weird that the place was already chosen as their meetup spot, because this kind of leads one to believe that seeing how all of this information was eventually leaked to the press, that either the hotel room had been bugged, or, as I'm leaning towards, Crisman was a fucking informer of sorts who was trying to boost this for popularity, a publicity stunt, a PR hoax, whatever you want to call it. But I think it plays back into his whole, like, don't go underground. Like, there's this weird sci-fi story bullshit kind of thing going on in the background. I could be wrong. I don't know. But somebody leaked all the specifics and details of these meetups to the press. It says, that night, Crisman received a call from Dahl.
Anonymous tips being sent in,
Yeah. Let's see. Dahl showed up. Okay, yeah. That night, Crisman received a call from Dahl, who explained that his absence to the second meeting was due to a government official, quote-unquote, in a black suit, who warned him to no longer speak of the Maury Island incident for the safety of his family. Dahl went on to say that when he returned home, his son Charles was missing. Although I couldn't find anything else about
Not Charles.
Yeah. Wasn't so in charge that time. Later, Crisman heard on the radio that a B-25... Okay, this is where this whole incident gets really fucked up.
Okay.
Later, Crisman heard on the radio that a B-25 carrying Davidson, Brown, and some of the fragments had crashed, and quickly informed Arnold of the incident. Crisman was later informed by Paul Lance, the police beat for the paper guy we mentioned earlier, that an anonymous source claimed the B-25 was sabotaged or shot down. Now, when I was looking at those FOIA request papers where they go really into this case, obviously the FBI says, like, no, something caught fire and the wing burst into flames, and 2 of the people in the plane parachuted to safety. Yeah. So, I mean, take it with an ocean of salt.
A lot of planes crashed that back then for no good reason.
I think, too, I could be wrong on this, but I think that this plane was actually headed for Fort Worth. I think it's Carswell Air Force Base, it used to be called.
We have an Air Force Base. Also, that's the reason most of these airplanes are made here now. Or not here in Fort Worth. And
General Dynamics.
I actually went to Fort Worth yesterday for like the 5th time in my life. It's fucking ghetto. It's gross over there. Fuck Fort Worth, man. Shit's nasty.
Cow shit everywhere. Let's see. Later, Crisman heard on the radio that a B-25 carrying Davidson Brown and some of the fragments had crashed and quickly informed Arnold of the accident. Crisman was later informed by Paul Lance, an anonymous source claimed the B-25 to have been sabotaged or shot down. He returned to the hotel, informing Arnold Smith about the possible subterfuge. United Press stringer Ted Morello called the group to confirm details about Davidson and Brown, also telling them that the anonymous source warned that the same thing could happen to Arnold and Smith. This warning prompted the frightened Crisman to flee the hotel. Not long after this, there was a huge backtracking and fucking step back. What do you call it when you say something? It's like, I didn't mean that.
Backpedaling.
Backpedaling, yes.
Yeah.
This is where all the hoax backpedaling started in. Once these Air Force guys died in this quote-unquote accident.
It was just a fun story we were telling the kids, you know. Yeah.
We were trying to sell a story to Amazing Stories or Ray Palmer, etc. Crisman was taken into custody by the military and put on an Air Force transport to Alaska. During his stay in Alaska, he allegedly discovered, like I mentioned earlier, another Lemurian cave full of darrows, quote-unquote.
I mean, that's where they're going to be.
Yeah. Who's,
Alaska.
Bigfoot, missing people.
Alaska is kind of like America's version of Siberia. Like,
It's
the whole thing with,
frontier.
like, the
It's a
USSR
frontier.
and Russia is like, oh, we'll send you off to fucking Siberia.
Oh, yeah.
Well, in America, it's like we could send you off to fucking Alaska.
I've heard many, like, military people say, like, if you fuck
It's like
up,
an Inuit,
that's where you're going.
Abu Ghraib.
Abu Ghraib.
Ghraib.
Yeah.
It's all the blubber you can eat.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll be eating blubber already.
I hear it's quite good.
As soon as I free Willy.
Oh,
Let's see. Months after his return, Crisman wrote a letter to Amazing Stories recounting his discovery of the cave in Alaska. In 1950, he wrote a letter to Palmer's Fate magazine, which is an awesome old-school UFO magazine. If you can ever find any online scans or whatever, check it out. There's all kinds of weird old-school shit in there. Proclaiming that the Maury Island incident was not a hoax. So, once again, tricks.
Don't know what to believe.
Yeah. Once again, muddying the waters.
Yeah.
Before Crisman was recalled to active duty during the Korean War, he was prescribed through, I don't know if the VA was around at this time, but the equivalent.
There's always been a Veterans Affairs.
Okay, yeah. Through the equivalent of this.
I mean, I think since...
There's always been an agency working.
Yeah,
I know since World War I there's been a Veterans Affairs.
Military doctors.
At least I know that much.
He was prescribed both barbiturates and amphetamines to help with his PTSD.
Well, that'll get you right.
Hell yeah.
One pill makes you sleepy, one pill wakes you up.
Yeah, that's
This was to get him in fit fighting condition for the Korean War. Now, for those who don't know, the Korean War is where the U.S. government first heard the phrase Manchurian Candidate through tangential connections to China, because China was the one who started all this shit. Manchuria's in China, for those who don't know. So there's a roundabout MK Ultra thing here. I don't know how, steadfast these connections are, but we'll get into some LSD shit later that I think has a much stronger connection.
Yeah, we got more on that.
Serving as a fighter pilot for 2.5 years, he carried out an espionage missions in the region. He worked for various jobs for the remainder of the 1950s and 60s, including a teacher, a principal at some point, I believe, a school administrator, principal, freelance writer, political speechwriter, right-wing political talk show broadcast.
That was one of the biggest things they brought up about him, was that he did the right-wing like radio show thing.
Yeah, and he did it under an alias, Dr. John Gold.
Gold, yeah.
That was his
And
radio.
you know, everything that I've read and heard the past couple of days, you know, like it would make Trump look like a brownie scout.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. He was
extremely
very
right-wing.
old school, like anti-communist.
Like Jimmy Carter.
Like the PTA or Nazis. You know, like anything.
Yeah,
You know,
we'll get into the PTA a little bit later. No, he was. It's so like, this is why I think he was like a lifelong CIA spook, shill, whatever you want to call it, because during his time as a right-wing talk show host, Alex Jones, he was telling people like, you need to form up parties, go to the PTA, infiltrate them.
Absolutely.
We need to do exactly what the commies are doing, because this is the only warfare language they understand, etc. He was very...
Was he wrong?
Not really. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, say what you will about the CIA, but their playbook is effective.
Mostly.
For the most part.
Mostly.
Yeah.
There's only...
Except for the many failures.
How many failed countries did we do?
As far as the, like, cloak and dagger, like, shady bullshit, they got it on lock.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that stuff fucks up quite often.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Hey, when you get in
answer.
fucking league with South American dictators, you're going to fuck up here and there.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, you try to take bell bottoms away from funky, fresh Iranians just living the life, something's going to happen.
People are going to be upset.
Yeah. He was a political speechwriter, a freelance writer. He wrote a book called Tacoma, The Murder of a City, which is essentially the best explanation I've heard put for this book that he wrote is him. It's like a list of grievances, like, these are all the
about
people
the
who fucked
grunge
me.
scene in fucking Washington.
Yeah, for the 60s and 70s,
Oh.
yeah. These are all the people who
even in the
fucked
40s,
me.
you know, that they mentioned...
It's grungy.
In Washington, in Oregon, where he was, like, there was lax prohibition laws in the 30s, and then in the 40s during the Japanese internment, like, there were certain cities that were just like not.
They were port cities in the middle of the woods. So yeah, of course. How are you gonna regulate that?
I do believe. I mean, I could be wrong on this. If we have any listeners out in Washington, I know at least one. What's up, Mujica? Then I think that whole area has been like kind of a bastion for lefty politics for a very long time.
It's just freedom.
Yes.
It's country mountain men and longshoremen. Like, seriously, it's all a coastline up
They're
there.
gonna say long shorts for a second.
Yeah,
Mountain
you got a mountain and you got a fucking
Are
water.
you making fun of my long shorts?
No. We're gonna start a city where it's okay for men to wear capris. No, yeah, it's frontier spirit.
I saw men wearing fucking goddamn capris. Anyway, I'm sorry. Remember,
It
I
happens.
Was he
pointed him out.
riding a unicycle?
No, I pointed him out from the window of the hotel the other morning. I said, that guy's wearing fucking capris.
Hey, capri guy,
Yeah,
what are you doing, man?
it was a
Where'd
great
you get
deal.
them pretty capri pants,
Yeah.
capri boy?
Anyway,
So yeah, this right-wing talk show was broadcast from a place called Pile Up. I think that's how you say it. Puyallup.
Boy,
Out of yeah, maybe. Between 1960 and 63, Crisman flew from Tacoma to New Orleans and Dallas 84 times. That's a lot of fucking times. We're gonna see why that's important in just a second.
was that ever confirmed? One of the sources.
not the 84, but there definitely
That he
were
definitely
confirmed
went back and forth.
reports.
Oh
of
yeah, he was.
trips.
Yeah,
It's just
But
about.
the 84
It's
hasn't been confirmed.
Okay.
yeah. The number itself, I just know, it was a shitload of times.
Yeah.
In 1967, Crisman was called by Clay Shaw. Clay Shaw, for those who have seen the JFK film, was famously played by Tommy Lee Jones. He was the guy who wore the weird powdered wig, and they had the weird homosexual Greek party.
Yeah. That movie went a little weird.
Very strange.
Yeah.
But apparently that's what the fuck was going on. And a lot of these guys, including Joe Pesci's character, once again, wandering bishops, these people
How am I
involved
funny?
in pseudo-religious orders, we'll say. But he called Clay Shaw, who allegedly is a fellow OSS officer from World War II, who was accused of conspiring to assassinate President John F. Kennedy. The grand jury subpoenaed Crisman, who was questioned about his connection to various persons of interest in New Orleans District Attorney Jim Garrison's investigation. Kevin Costner. Into Kennedy's assassination, no charges were brought against Crisman, and Shaw was eventually acquitted. Crisman died of kidney failure at the Seattle Veterans Hospital in 1975, but not before marrying a woman named Maggie or some shit. He married a woman right before he died, which is also very strange. I don't know. Maybe he actually had a heart at some point, and they're just like, we got to get this done now.
Oh, man, I just married a woman. I hope I don't die.
Nah. Have you been involved in any political assassination plots? Posthumously, a key witness in a 1977 investigation into the Kennedy assassination identified Crisman as one of the 3 vagrants, a.k.a. the 3 hobos, a.k.a. the 3 tramps, who are...
One was also possibly Woody Harrelson's father.
Yes, or possibly also, I think I mentioned earlier, E. Howard Hunt, who was also one of the Watergate burglars or tangentially involved with that. And
what if it was all 3 of them?
Maybe.
There was 3.
But, yeah.
3 of them at the same time.
They were arrested shortly after the shooting. However, an alibi was provided by a high school in Rainier, Oregon that employed him at the time. Because, of course, he would have an alibi. But you know what? Listening to 2 of those sources also, apparently, according to a article printed around this time, Fred Crisman somehow had relations or knew Officer J.D. Tippett of the Dallas Police Department.
Interesting.
Yeah. Never could verify or get any specifications on what their relationship was together, but for those who don't know, Officer J.D. Tippett was the man who almost caught Oswald, but Oswald fucking allegedly
capped his ass.
Allegedly capped his ass.
Allegedly.
So there are like weird little kind of asides in this. So his military career. Let's see, on May 26, 1942, this is going by the official story of the Wikipedia article. So, quote unquote, official. On May 26, 1942, Crisman enlisted in the Army, entering the service with the rank of a 2nd lieutenant. In 1943, Crisman was listed an aviation cadet undergoing training at Lancaster, California. He was awarded the Air Medal and the Distinguished Flying Cross. Crisman left the Army as a 1st lieutenant on February 19, 1946. This was not long after his alleged encounter with the underground Lemurian Darrows. Let's see, Crisman's claims of first-hand knowledge of the Shaver mystery were published in June 1946. In 46 to 47, the pulp magazine Amazing Stories was an outlet for fantasy bullshit. Science fiction, essentially. Business and politics. In 1966, an FBI informant claimed Crisman had transported $100,000 in cash to California, was doing business as a psychologist, and was suspected of operating a diploma mill, as mentioned earlier.
Why haven't I done these things? There's so many goddamn grifts.
It's so easy to bullshit people.
Bullshit grifts.
Back in the day.
God, you just got to be confident,
All
man.
you had to do
That's
is have
true.
one of those machines where you put a stamp on a fucking piece of paper.
Not really. All these people really are just so confident in their own bullshit, they can fucking pull this stuff off.
Yeah.
Like, really,
You have to
confidence
look-
goes a long fucking way
look
in this
like
world.
you belong there. And I would say...
That's why I always stole during the daytime. When
Oh,
I
yeah.
stole, I'm not a thief, but there was a few times.
I was a fucking thief, big time. When I worked at
You're in the daytime, and if you're buying some other shit, like you can fucking pocket him.
When I worked at the grocery store that sells all the healthy shit, everyone knows which one I'm talking about. I'm not going to say the name.
They're owned by Amazon now.
Of which Whole Foods it was.
The
But
food hole.
dude, all you had to do was
Whole
just fucking
paycheck. Am I
grab
right?
shit off the shelf and take it to the microwave and eat it and be like, "Yep, I'm supposed to be doing this." So, it is all about confidence.
That's just work overages, actually. That's
Yeah,
or what do they call it? Loss.
Yes,
Yeah,
LP.
shrinkage. That's
yeah.
what they call it. Shrinkage.
It was cold in the pool.
It was.
Let's see.
I
on
was
March,
in the pool.
on March 1st. Okay, this is where some of the more interesting shit from Jim Garrison, a.k.a. Kevin Costner, the
God, I
New
wish I could do
Orleans
that impression right
Attorney
now.
General. Back to the left.
Yeah, I got to work on it.
March 1st, 1967, New Orleans businessman Clay Shaw was arrested for conspiring to assassinate John F. Kennedy. According to a controversial district attorney, Jim Garrison, the first person Shaw called after being charged was Fred Crisman. On October 31st, Halloween, 1968, a grand jury in New Orleans issued a subpoena for Fred Crisman in connection with the investigation into the assassination. District Attorney Jim Garrison issued a press release saying, quote, Mr. Crisman has been engaged in undercover activity for a part of the industrial warfare complex for years. His cover is that of a quote-unquote preacher and a person, quote-unquote, engaged in work to help gypsies. Oh,
industrial warfare complex sounds fucking sick.
That's what fucking Dwight.
It's like on something about Mary. He's like, I help retards.
Yeah. But yes, Eisenhower.
You can call us gypsies, just don't say gypsies.
He said industrial, military industrial complex,
Yeah,
which is what
gypsies.
is normally said, but what that other phrase was more.
See, this is another thing that like feeds into like the consistent spook bullshitter thing. It's like, what's a?
But that is what a spook is.
Yeah. Oh,
That's literally their job. Even the
Their
people
disruption.
employed by the CIA are just fucking assholes. And a lot of the people that work for the CIA weren't ever military. They were just some kind of mover and shaker that got pulled in.
Yeah.
Connected.
I think there is I don't know. There's like a.
I guess there's employees of the CIA and assets of the CIA.
Yeah, and the CIA is also well known for employing various quote-unquote contractors because contractors are outsourced, yes, and you don't have to.
There's no regulations whatsoever.
Yeah, pretty much. All the biggest CIA information has come out of basically forensic accounting.
Yeah,
because they look at it like, where's this money going? And if it's like contractor, boom, that's so.
There it is.
Well, it could be anything. Mr. Crisman has been engaged in undercover activity. Oh, yeah, okay. Our information indicates that since the early 1960s, he has made many trips to the New Orleans and Dallas areas in connection with his undercover work for that part of the warfare industry engaged in the manufacture of what is termed in the military language a hardware. Spencer, thank you.
Yes, hardware.
Meaning those weapons sold to the U.S. government, which are uniquely large and expensive. Yes. Just the kind of shit you might use when tracking down UFOs.
Yeah.
The Cadillac of weapons.
Microwave trucks and
this
stuff
is the
like
Merlot Broham of IBCM missiles or whatever the fuck they're called.
What's Broham?
It's maroon.
Well, actually, it's not maroon. What it is, it's Merlot, and it's a Broham.
Mr. Crisman is a quote-unquote former employee of Boeing Aircraft. That's one of those defense...
He was an employee advocate.
Yeah, that's
or
one
so
of those...
his CV says.
That is one of those cushy positions you get to be on standby and like manipulate some shit.
Defense industry.
That's a glossy title for a fucking
that kind
shady
of title,
motherfucker.
like lets me know this guy at least had some kind of action.
Oh yeah. And all his, and like we said, I listed all his jobs earlier.
Yeah.
This one in particular.
That one is very interesting.
Fucking that's why the word former by Jim Garrison is in quotes.
Mm-hmm.
He was a former employee of Lockheed Aircraft Company in Los Angeles as well.
Both of them.
Yeah.
The big ones.
In intelligence terminology, this ordinarily means that the connections still exist, but that the quote-unquote former employee has moved into an underground operation. More often than not, a quote-unquote bad record or evidence indicating that he has been quote-unquote fired is prepared for the parent company to increase the disassociation between the two. Now, say what you will about Louisiana DA Jim Garrison, but the man was a fucking bulldog for the truth.
I bet he wore a white hat with a big brim.
Probably. I bet he did. And not just the Kevin Costner version of him. See, on November 21st, 1968, Crisman was deposed in the case against Clay Shaw. By January 9th, 1969, the Kennedy assassination conspiracy theorist Richard E. Sprague was privately accusing Crisman of being one of the aforementioned three tramps. So, yeah. And from that point on, he jumps into the whole... he's back in Washington. He jumps into the whole broadcasting, the right-wing radio show, local politics. But in this is the weird shit that I found. I didn't even know this about the guy because I knew there was connections to underground aliens or whatever, UFOs, the JFK assassination. But I found this weird cult angle because apparently when Crisman was in California for a bit running this diploma shill mill or whatever, he was saying that he was a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and that he had degrees in parapsychology, which is also weird. And this is what made me kept thinking of the Stargate conspiracy, because all the weird we're talking to interdimensional beings, we're channeling. We have our cult has a pipeline directly to Sandoz Pharmaceuticals for military-grade industrial strength LSD.
I do have to. I'm about to look them up, but I just have to recap. While you were saying that, I looked. Who owns Boeing?
Rothschild,
BlackRock, and Vanguard.
No shit.
Who owns Lockheed Martin?
BlackRock.
BlackRock and Vanguard. Actually, it's reverse order. Who owns more shares? But yes, isn't that fucking yeah.
Wow.
Okay, what was that other one you said real quick?
Sandoz Pharmaceuticals. SANDOZ.
All right, proceed. Sorry.
That's who. What's his name? Albert Hoffman was the guy who quote unquote discovered LSD and synthesized it basically.
Oh, okay.
And he was working for Sandoz Pharmaceutical. This is the same company that sold gallons and gallons. I'm talking fucking thousands
Could you
of gallons.
imagine?
Oh my
A
god!
gallon would have to be what, like 100,000 doses or
You know what's
something like
fucked
that.
up too? It's like,
Jesus.
hey, we're a pharmaceutical company. Here you go. Let's sell you a fucking several thousand gallons of LSD. Whereas just a guy on the street. It's like, hey, I'm just a guy on the street. I'm just gonna sell you a couple drops of liquid acid. Boom. Tough acting is an accident. Your fucking ass is in jail, bro.
Boom.
What you got is a dirty jersey.
Well, now see, when you can't see what's coming up ahead of you, then you don't know where you're going. And you want to be able to see where you're going if you're going to know where to go. That was, what's his name?
John Madden.
Okay.
John Madden.
Yeah.
If you can't see ahead of you, then you don't know where you're going. And if you want to win the game, you got to know where you're going. So you got to see where you're going.
That's why you get Ace Rent a Car.
Do people still know who John Madden is? I mean,
Yeah,
there's
his
the
name is
game
still
on the video game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the video game, but do people still know?
That's his legacy.
I guess it is his legacy.
I mean, it was such bullshit, the shit that he would say. He was just rattling off fucking half-cocked on fucking Jameson or
Horse
something.
tranquilizers.
Yeah, oh, God.
So, yeah.
You don't...
Anyway.
If you fall down on the other side of the line of scrimmage, then you're going to get a down there, and you're not going to get to your first down. So what you want to do is get your first down past the line of scrimmage. Just total fucking just horse shit.
You want to get the ball and run it to the end of the field. And make sure no one stops you while you're doing it.
If someone stops you while you're trying to run the ball, then you're not going to be able to make it to the end
you
zone.
can't
Is
make
what's
the
going to
point.
happen.
And that's how long I showed it. God, there was a guy in our fucking high school who was in charge of the in-school suspension when you fucked up.
ISS?
Yeah, rack.
Yeah.
Yeah, he reminded me of John Madden very much. Except supposedly, if you threw a bunch of change on the ground, his drunk ass would have to go chase
He was
after
drunk.
it.
Okay, back to the plot.
Yeah.
Okay. Sandoz Pharmaceuticals was owned by Novartis.
Right?
Yes, through Switzerland.
Mm.
They were owned by Novartis. Novartis' largest shareholder is Sandoz family through the Sandoz Family Foundation. Pierre Landholt, the foundation's president, represents the family on the company's board of directors at BlackRock Inc.
God damn.
Holy shit.
Anyway.
Dude, I swear to God, going in the next 5 years, 2 companies are going to fucking own everything.
Well, it's at 5 right now, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everything will be between the, it's going to be just total monopolization
Oh, yeah.
of everything.
Dude, the aughts, there was 6 media companies. I don't even know fucking what it's shrunk down to at this point. Let's see.
All right.
Might make the internet bill fucking cheaper every month. Who knows?
I see, and this is why.
No, I don't think it'll be good, but
This is why I love podcasting and new media, because this is probably the only place you're gonna hear shit like what we're saying
Until
eventually.
they edit us on fucking goddamn services.
Cocksucking Turkish bath
Wait a minute.
ass huffing motherfucking.
What corporation owns YouTube? What corporation owns Google?
Yeah.
Oh.
Alphabet, something like that.
Oh, it is Alphabet.
Yeah.
Wait. What corporation owns Alphabet?
U.S. government.
the
Alphabet's
Rothschilds.
ownership structure. Google. BlackRock and Vanguard.
Are you fucking serious?
No, it's just who owns BlackRock and Vanguard.
God damn,
Isn't that
man.
fucking crazy, dude?
Jesus Christ.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're off on
No,
a fucking
that's
tangent here.
that's no,
But,
that's
like,
We gotta stay off the internet, boys.
Okay.
After posting the show.
I'm gonna start fucking looking at every goddamn shit.
Don't look at
too much
Facebook.
knowledge is a
Yeah,
dangerous
no,
thing.
No. You disconnect. Unplug.
All right.
So during this
No,
weird
no.
sort of unexplored era when Crisman was fucking around in California and back and forth between Washington, he was involved with this group and the diploma mill, as I mentioned earlier. He was fucking around in parapsychology. And once again, yeah, this is what reminded me of the Stargate conspiracy, because that was all about, you know, fucking creating weird alien contact groups,
That boat was
channeling, quote unquote, etc. Now, the whole pipeline to Sandoz Pharmaceuticals and the LSD train that they were on with biscuit wheels, or I don't know,
Gravy train with biscuit wheels.
yeah. This has been verified. Let's see, where'd it go? Let's see, 1979. No, that's not it. Hold on. Oh, real quick, before we get into the cult shit, I also gotta mention this, because this is how this fucking Crisman dude reaches into our modern era.
Okay.
Fred Crisman
Bring it in. Bring it home.
was a former business partner of a man named Riconosciuto. Now, Riconosciuto's son,
Promise.
Michael,
Yes.
was the creator of a software known as Promise, which I forget what the acronym stands for, but it was essentially an international governmental, it was like prosecutors, online, something,
Retarded on in
Mongoloid,
Mongoloid.
insanity session.
Yeah.
Wait, session? Yeah, okay. Fact checking here.
Yeah.
Fact checking.
Yeah.
So Riconosciuto's son was the guy who wrote the Promise software. The Promise software.
Where do you keep getting that fucking at?
He's got like 5 or 6 of them.
Like, damn it.
I got 2 in the back seat.
The Promise software is one of the central overarching points within what is known as the Octopus Conspiracy.
Yeah.
Now, this
There's
is way
a
more...
documentary on Netflix, right?
Yes, watch the documentary on Netflix, because it's too fucking complex for us to
The
go into.
Octopus
Yeah.
Murder.
And I call it octopus thing. The Octopus Conspiracy and the quote-unquote suicide of Danny Casolaro, the journalist who was looking into it, there are some very intricate, complex, interweaving narratives and players and institutions, etc., throughout this. But the Octopus Conspiracy, whatever you want to call it, it fucking ties into the Reagan administration at the time.
Ollie North.
Fucking Star Wars, Ollie North, all the fucking Iran-Contra shit, and reaches out all the way to 9/11.
Yeah.
Fred Crisman.
It's tenuous. It's a tenuous link, but it's
But
there.
this is what makes this guy
If any
the
of this
Forrest Gump.
like if even like if like a quarter of this is true, it's still a very interesting accomplishments for a fucking weird
a
fucking
real
man.
jack of all trades of dipshit conspiracies.
Yeah, a real jack of all asses. But he could be could he be the main? Could he have just swindled his way into being the main?
Some
You
people
know?
think
It
he
could
was
be
the
like a
trigger man
50-50 mix, you know, like
in
he could
Dallas
have
that
been
day.
he
So-
could have been like a janitor at the fucking Dulce base or whatever.
Well,
the
actually,
fuck,
I'm
but,
glad
like,
you mentioned janitor, because that's kind of what some people theorize that he is. He's like the wolf from Pulp Fiction for the
Oh.
CIA. He's
I'm-
like the cleanup crew.
Forgive me for being curt, but I believe time is of the
Which
essence.
really is the CSM
So pretty
Spender
please.
from the X-Files.
with fucking sugar on top.
Because that guy was a kind of a cleanup. Well, he was a hit.
He was
man,
a cleaner.
but he was also a cleanup man.
Yeah.
Because he just dealt with problems.
It's just the
Yeah.
God damn, man. That's why like
He
this
was a
guy
fixer.
is the perfect example of a spook, because it's all the muddying of the waters
I
and
really want
bullshit
that
going
room.
this way and that way.
You know the old white guys that are basically the Black Rock Vanguard on X-Files. All the
Yeah.
old white guys.
Sitting on a round
the
table,
smoky
like,
cigar
The smoky
and
cigar.
filled
It's all
room
wood and leather.
where
Everything's
they
wood and leather.
they turn the lights off when you become president, and
they might
show
be
you
wearing powdered
the
wigs.
footage of the JFK assassination from an angle that no one's seen before.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
room. I want that room. I want
Yeah.
that room. We need that room. That should be a studio.
like an onyx centerpiece.
That's
on
a
the table,
studio
like
goal right there.
fucking-
Fucking leather and wood
fortune teller
Illuminati
ball.
room.
Rich mahogany.
Yeah, rich
fucking throwing
mahogany.
our fucking
Yeah.
standard Anchorman quote at some
Smells
point.
of rich
Uh-huh.
mahogany.
So we're gonna close out with these cult connections because this is the part that I didn't know
Get me
about.
there. Get me
and
there.
Fucking, it was super weird. So this is from an article by a man named Adam Go Rightly. He's an interesting writer. He's got some connections to the Discordian movement, which, oddly enough, the founder of the Discordian movement has some very interesting connections to one Lee Harvey Oswald. However, in recent times, I've also found out that despite enjoying many of Go Rightly's writings, I also think he may have ties to neo-Nazi groups. I'm still not quite sure what the fuck is going on with that, so take everything with a
Which group?
pinch of salt. Just the movement, or whatever you want to call it.
The cause.
Yeah.
Well, they all got a different idea of it. Anyway.
Yeah. Some people think Jews are half snake.
Some
think
white supremacists are unaffiliated. You know, like they just have their own
lone
beliefs. They don't
wolves,
really.
I believe.
Yeah,
they're
lone
called.
wolves. Yeah. Timothy, well, no, Timothy McVeigh hung out with movements. Anyway,
Yeah. So
that's why I was curious. Was it one of those movements?
According to the Go Rightly article, he writes, recent sleuthing by intrepid researchers Jeff Suwack and Kirk Nelson, with a little assistance from yours truly, Go Rightly, have uncovered Crisman's possible ties to a UFO channeling group identified as Service Awareness. However, this is a misnomer. This was miswritten in the court
it's
documents.
supposed to be
Servants of Awareness.
Servants of awareness.
Let's see, that were mentioned in Crisman's testimony before the Orleans Parish grand jury during the Jim Garrison investigation. Let's see, the Garrison suspected or believed or pretended to believe, according to Go Rightly, that an assortment of fringe religious groups, or quote-unquote odd sects, as he called them, had been used as fronts for a sprawling JFK assassination conspiracy, political assassins running around in clerical garb with instruments of death concealed within the flowing folds of their robes. Paints a picture, I'll say that much. According to The Sound, a newsletter published by Cosmic Awareness Communications. Now, Cosmic Awareness is the name of the entity that they were channeling.
Oh, that's the name.
Yeah. It's very...
It's not
Llama,
just a cult
Cosmic
publishing house.
Awareness,
It sounds like
Cosmic
that's
It's like, what's your name,
Awareness.
channeled entity? Cosmic Awareness.
I'm Cosmic Awareness.
I get high off my own thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Cosmic Awareness Communications was their sort of publishing house, and they put out a newsletter, which I found a website, which will also be included in the show notes, where you can read many of these newsletters, quote unquote, that were put out. And if you want a fucking level of high weirdness and just utterly strange bullshit, check some out. This one that I found for Cosmic Awareness Communications mailouts discuss topics such as, and this is on the website I found, psychic storms, mind control, communications with interdimensional entities, safe places to hide during man-made and natural disasters, and views on female masturbation. I'm not bullshitting. That's almost a direct quote.
That's almost like the Moore Institute.
This just makes me think, like, you had to work to be in a cult back in the day. Like, or you had to, like, really seek this weird information out. Now, like, we could...
Like, you have to just, like, encounter someone.
Yeah, you have to try not to be in a cult.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Like, to join some kind of... Like, you can look on the internet and find the weird, dumbest shit.
Influencers, man. They have fucking TikTok.
Yeah.
cults and
Anything.
shit.
Yeah, you could snap a cult up like that.
Cyber sectarians, I believe they're
But
called.
back then, you had to, like, where do you find a weird magazine or a pamphlet from some guy that tells you about this publishing
Yeah, like a
agency?
trash
order.
can at a gas station in the middle of the
Yeah,
night.
mail
some
order
fucking,
thing that
like,
tell me how to
dial
put crystals up my
476
ass and tell the
972
future
baby do.
and get the chakra all aligned, and then and please send me $75
Oh, of course.
COD or whatever.
If you want the secrets of the universe,
Yeah,
I mean, you're gonna have to fucking pay.
Yeah, for sure.
The leader of this group, the original leader, was a man by the name of Frank Doobie.
Doobie.
Party guy.
Tells you all you didn't know right there, I think. But apparently Frank Doobie was constantly, watching TV. There's a story about him watching Walter Cronkite on the news and talking to the TV while everyone's on acid, of course.
Okay, yeah. This dude thought he sunk India with a fart.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like fucking televangelists today.
It's like
Oh,
talk about
9/11. You know what caused that?
of the
Unwed
frying
mothers
pan
and
into the
various whoredoms of the heretics and non-believers, etc. I will say, however, also that the cosmic awareness communications, there was one stuck out in particular that seemed very troubling. It was a channeled, quote-unquote, interdimensional, quote-unquote, transmission concerning the karmic cleansing of the Jewish people via the Holocaust. So,
What?
it's got to show up sooner or later in every goddamn conspiracy.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this group, Servants of Awareness, this fits right in with Crisman's time as a right-wing radio host. He says that his enemies were trying to bust him on a shoddy bullshit frame-up for narcotics trafficking, etc. They found a lab where they were allegedly producing LSD, but he said that it's the left and they're setting me up. It's communists infiltrating everything. Let's see.
the communist PTA.
Yeah.
Nazis,
Where
yes.
was that? Hold on. Go Rightly writes, I came across this supposed CIA connection to the Servants of Awareness. I immediately flashed on Fred Crisman, who was never bashful about fostering the legend that he was some sort of super spook involved with UFOs and all manner of paranormal intrigue.
I mean, if you got that character, lean into it. You know, you're gonna.
Yeah,
lean
and
in.
if you're
Especially
extremely
once you get
mentally
older,
ill,
you've already been doing this shit for like 30 years, and it's been working, or at least working enough. You know.
You know how much pussy I got on this fucking joke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like. Shit.
So I could totally see Crisman pushing the idea he was a CIA mastermind to impress Servants of Awareness members or gain some standing in the group. By 1968, Crisman would be investigated for narcotics activity in connection with the Servants of Awareness. As it turns out, the person who wrote the article, their name is Mellon, I believe, lifted these Crisman... M-E-L-L-E-N.
Okay.
I'm assuming. It could be Maine. The Servants of Awareness allegations from an article published in the November 1975 issue of Crawdaddy magazine, which sounds very much like a reputable source.
Oh, sure, Crawdaddy magazine. Yeah.
I think they broke
My
the...
dad had a subscription to that one.
Yeah, I think they broke the Catholic scandals back
and then you got the Desert Blue Crab Quarterly. You know, yeah.
They're not Alaskan King, but they feel
Sure.
huge.
Yeah, the fucking Crab
let's
Report.
see. There was also the Crawdaddy magazine itself that was attributed to the Assassination Information Bureau, or the AIB, which is a clearinghouse for JFK assassination info, found in 1972 by a man named Carl Oglesby, who was the author of The Yankee and Cowboy War. Now, for those who've never heard of the Yankee Cowboy War, this is some old school conspiracy shit that's all about the basic idea is old money versus new money in control of America.
Oh.
So, like, you have these, you know, like the Yankees, the blue bloods who came from Europe, old money groups, and then guys like Howard Hughes, who was a big figure in this, out west making their new fortunes, etc.
Pretty much everybody that went out west.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Getting gold
The
and
new
fucking-
Lots of new money.
Yeah.
Let's see. So the first iteration of the Servants of Awareness was known as the Organization of Awareness, which was an outgrowth of a quote-unquote church in Seattle involved in quote-unquote depth psychology. The church, in this instance, was the Center of Integration, founded in 1953 by a fellow named Bob Carr, who carved out a niche for himself as a trance channeler along the lines of Edgar Cayce.
Oh, I thought you were going to say mechanic. You get it? How about that one? Zing!
It's like calling a big guy tiny. No, wait. Let's see. So, in this regard, Carr conducted trance readings for individuals to help cure them of sicknesses, both physical and mental, and provided personal counseling, a sort of psychic life coach, aka 100% bullshitter. Over time, Carr gained a somewhat sizable following, which you can learn more about if you read the book God Men, Con Men, Pursuit of Truth. So, book plug, it was in there. He wrote it. Back in 1958, the lead channeler at the Center of Integration, Bob Carr, discovered that due to the church's nonprofit status, they could obtain free quantities of lysergic acid dithylamide 25
that's a good thing to figure out.
for quote-unquote research purposes
Holy
direct
shit.
from Sandoz Laboratories in Switzerland. This resulted in the acquisition of 100 milligrams of the mighty molecule, which the group then used to great effect during channeling sessions. in the video
It's like
below.
1,000 doses.
There's no video in this paper. But LSD channeling sessions appeared to have reached a peak during the Servants of Awareness era from 67 to 70, as things got pretty loosey-goosey, with David Worcester filling the role of the lead interpreter / channeler. According to Revelations of Awareness, that's the name of the newsletter that they were sending out. The Cosmic Awareness newsletter, 10th anniversary edition. He was a very interesting person. He was a good conductor of LSD sessions for many entities, whatever that means, guiding them through the bardos and death experiences, a la the Tibetan Book of the Dead. He would switch on the TV with the TV news with Walter Cronkite, pull up a stool, light up, and sit before the TV and talk back to Walter Cronkite.
Back when you could believe the news.
David swore the words were being heard by the newscaster as he read the controlled news from his script, that his routine was changing consciousness, quote unquote. As a magician, David took a lot of credit for certain events that occurred on the world scene. He implied, for example, that an earthquake in India, as you mentioned, was because he farted while in the mountains of Olympia.
Holy sheep shit.
Sheep shit. That's a good word for it. Sheeple shit. Yeah. This whole cosmic awareness bullshit, it goes way deeper. I'll include the link to the Go Rightly article as well. But yeah, and then when you get into like him in politics as well, oh my god, it gets more insane. But it's a fucking wild ride. So yeah, if you've ever wanted to get a, I don't know, let's say a perfect example of what a spook does and how they operate, this is probably the fucking guy.
I prefer CSM Spender, but
yeah.
But this guy is kind of the closest thing to that character.
Yeah, he insinuates himself into shit and just sows discord and fucking demagoguery and bullshit everywhere he goes. And this is almost, I mean, say what you will about UFO theories and whatnot, but I mean, once again, all the disclosure we're getting lately via the government. So
But
there's too many. You can't have all the humans involved. There's too many leaks.
yeah,
now.
question everything.
Yeah.
Question the
Yeah.
source.
I think the leaks are smoke screens.
Could
Personally, for the most part. Right now, anyways, my mood changes from month to month.
Yeah.
As new shit
But
comes
there's
out.
also
New
just too
information.
many
I always
people
get
involved.
excited. I always
Has
get
come
like
to
my
light.
hopes up. You know, when a new disclosure comes out, and I'm just like, still
Yeah.
not concrete.
Nothing
You
burger.
know, like it's not.
Plus the whole idea that all this UFO, like, all this shit was going on during the Cold War.
Yes.
Which also makes me think this has been a fucking smokescreen for something else.
Yeah.
Or there's the popular theory
To
now.
sow discord in what the world thinks about our military
Yep,
technology.
muddy the waters. Yes, and once again, like the Tic Tac videos, like, is this like a secret fuck you to China and Russia? Like, look what we got.
Now we got
So-
a plane that can go zip zing zing, you know, like a fucking
To the moon, Alice.
like a fucking skipping rock on a stream.
So yeah, that's gonna do it for this week. We'll be back
Yes.
next week with our Halloween episode, chock full of murder.
Yeah, we'll be back.
And
I'll be fully studied, fully awake.
I believe there's some cult business in there. Maybe I don't want to give it all
We're
away.
Kooks, Cranks, and Iconoclast, and we're back.
That's right.
Well, no, next week we're back.
You'll never get rid
We're
of us.
back.
We're just here for today.
Yeah. Think about what I said about donations earlier. Because, really?
The part that didn't have the bleeps.
Yeah. Also, everything you mentioned about BlackRock owning everything,
Yeah.
that was organic. I did not fucking know any of that.
I didn't either, but I was just.
I mean, I know
following.
they're up there, but goddamn.
Holy shit.
I just know that's like
Yeah.
one of the main big conspiracies that tied
And
into
you know
everything.
that the fucking BlackRock with that guy that tried to
Yeah.
defeat Trump. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah, that whole,
allegedly.
Allegedly.
I'm not claiming anything actually happened one way or the other.
Yes, but
But
pointing
it is
out
funny
the
that
connection.
it's
Yeah.
just like really.
He was
when
on
you
a
look at
BlackRock
it,
video,
this
right?
one big company owns everything, but they mainly own all the things that really affect us, like fucking war machines, airplanes,
Giant
fucking-
100mm
You know what?
cannons
and
shit.
drugs.
I just I just remember hearing like a weird urban legend that there was
Oh,
like,
and our media, because that's the thing. YouTube, they owned YouTube.
yeah,
Dude,
fucking
yeah,
pedophile
boy.
fucking nation. Ugh.
That's why our shit got cut off about Dutroux.
Yeah, we're too close to the truth.
Well,
Yeah.
So please Give till it hurts if you want to keep hearing the truth. And Black Rock, that just reminded me, I've heard like urban legends from like certain people in the inner city, mostly drug addicts or whatever, but there's a form of like black cocaine that like has
I've
some
never
kind of...
heard this myth.
You've never heard of this?
Is this a Halloween story?
No, it's like I've heard of it's like, or I don't know if it's
They're, like spoiled.
I don't know if
it
it's like
got
crack
moldy?
necessarily or like a methamphetamine.
Do you die and come back from the dead?
No, it supposedly has like
I've
weird.
had.
Wait, this isn't a Halloween story.
I've had an ecstasy
No.
pill that was like a black goo.
Oh.
I've had LSD.
So
Like
it was like a black purple goo.
yeah. No, I've heard of like weird black crack rock type stuff that supposedly has crystalline structures in it that make a fucking transmitter in your brain.
Huh.
So don't
Shit.
smoke the black.
Don't
The
smoke
brown
black
acid
crack.
is bad, and the black crack rocks are also
I
bad.
think most crackheads that I've ever seen would probably not want to buy the black crack because they're like, "What the fuck is this
Yeah.
shit?"
Yeah.
as a connoisseur
You think
of the
of-
drug out there,
Cocaine white, you know?
or
Yeah,
pink.
well, it's like peanut color.
No, the pink. That's that.
It's like the
that's
color
that.
of
We're
a
not
rose.
on
That's
that
some
Diddy
other
shit.
bullshit.
We're leaving
Yeah.
Diddy alone today.
Well, no, that guy who
We'll be back to Diddy.
the
soon.
guy who jumped off the building or whatever was high on it.
Oh
apparently.
yeah, there was like he was doing foilies or something. There was fucking like just like coke smear residue all over the place. From the pictures I saw from the dude.
Anywho, I'm your host, Mike Lucht, and as always, I'm joined by...
Spencer Lowry.
And Christopher motherfucking Wells. Check us on the Kooks, Pranks, and Iconoclast Instagram. And
the YouTubes, if they'll let you.
yeah. Check us out on Spotify first.
We're on all the shit.
We're on all this. You'll find us, but not YouTube. I mean, we're there on YouTube.
No, we're there, but we
You-
just...
YouTube, you
Fuck
know,
'em.
they're-
Fuck 'em.
it's a good organization.
Black Rock approved.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night, and good luck. We'll see you next week.
No!